is escalating through an escalation path more than was expected, then that's how the agent will learn. So it's really that feedback from the end user that really helps the agent learn over time. And then as new data comes in, right? So one of the things that we talk about with not DIYing is that if you're going to retrain a model to build an agent, then every time your data changes, your agent is stale. And so if you're instead using a more flexible architecture like we have with AgentForce and Data Cloud working together, then as your data changes, the website browsing behavior, telemetry data, device data, all sorts of things, then your agent learns and changes with it.
Yeah, I think to add to that, you think about it how it evolves. You probably started off by, it's not a rules-driven engine. Obviously, it's not deterministic in that way, it's semantic. You're telling it to do something, it meaning the agent working with a human. You start off with something relatively narrow, as in, help me with the returns policy for this particular product, right? And over time, we expect that narrowness to increase, as in help me with the returns policy, but also help me optimize for what my margins could be, and adding that as an additional thing. Now, the second piece of it might require you to have the human help through some instructions for the agent to get augmented, or an additional agent goes in and then they talk to each other, right? So that's one way of thinking about the evolution. Another way to think about the evolution is you decide for it to be relatively simple because you want it to be performant, you want it to be high scale, you want it to be performant, but then over time you start to say that it's learned enough through all of this, and it's refined enough that now I can feed it a whole bunch of additional data and also instructions along with it, what we refer to as prompts underneath and all the topics that go underneath the prompts. We want to feed more to it, right? That's another way to evolve. The multiple ways in which the agents will evolve and get faster. But the most important part about this is the things that I refer to as in topics that you want to connect it to, the data you want to connect it to as well. Having one agent speak to another one where you have another new semantic agent wake up. All of that is covered as part of our AgentForce platform and the underlying Salesforce platform. Meaning we have accounted for that kind of growth. Of course, we'll learn along the way as well, but we expect it to evolve that way.
But I would just add one thing from a customer experience. Like, the premise of this is you don't want it to stay stale. I think historically chatbots, you fed them at some point in time, and yes, maybe went back and we updated some Q&A, but it didn't have the robustness behind the way you modified what it could respond. And I think it gets back to that personalized and the authenticity. Like, this is gonna force us all to really up our game and ensuring that it's always feeding it more information, whether it's new products or new things that we have that are tangential to that product. I think that's another big game changer, in my opinion, on the AgentForce.
You mentioned earlier into a important sort of reflection of your brand voice is, and what's great is that all of us can participate in that because you're programming these agents through natural language instruction. So you can provide that sufficient clarity of instruction, and that results in a better experience. You're not having to rip and tear and start from the studs up. You're able to kind of take these things and improve them in flight, and you have this rich data that's being captured through the data cloud to help steer you in that direction. So we really appreciate the time. Thank you to our panel, Sanjana, Velia, and Rahul, and thank you all so much for your questions. We'll be around to ask more questions, but we appreciate the time.